But it's not that much different than if you were going to hit a flop shot. So everyone know how to hit a flop shot? You open the face probably a little bit. Opening the face also puts more bounce on the club. Okay, closing the face takes more bounce off the club. So for future reference, that's something that might be handy someday. But I always have an open club face in the bunker because it gives me more bounce. But like I said, the big difference between when we're chipping and when we're bunker playing or trying to hit it in the air is I want that club to pass through. One thing that I like to do is widen my stance out a little bit. Any idea why I would want to do that compared to a narrow stance?
Got firm bait. You got
part of it gets me lower. And again, I'm trying to hit under. We haven't talked about this yet, but I'm going to try to hit underneath the ball on this. One thing that a wider stance helps me do is have a wider arc and not so steep of an arc. If I'm narrow, a lot of times I come down into the ball really steep, and that's something that we don't want in the bunker. If you're in a fairway bunker or a greenside bunker, we don't want to be steep. Because again, if you're steep, you're probably going to dig your divot, and we don't want to dig our divot here. So we want a wide arc in hopes that it's a lot shallower of a divot. Okay? And again, same thing. As far as when we talked about divots on the range, we got to have divots in the bunker. If we don't make a divot out of the bunker, that thing's that's going to hit Judd over there on the driving range. So we got to get that thing underneath the ball. A lot of times you'll hear that a bunker shot is actually like an intentional chunk shot, or you're trying to hit behind the ball, and that's true. But a lot of times what I see when people are talking about that, or when I'm doing my bunker lessons, is we're hitting way too far behind the ball. So yes, that's true. We want to hit a little bit behind the ball, but I'm not necessarily sure if that should be our focus when we're doing it, because I think if we focus behind the ball, we're going to end up hitting way behind the ball. A really good visual that I like to do, actually, and you can use it with a tee too. A real good aid for this is when this ball is in the bunker, imagine that there's a tee underneath it. And instead of hitting the ball, kind of what we were talking about is shifting our focus a little bit. Our goal is just, let's swipe that tee out from underneath that ball. I've heard it explained a little bit too, like if you can pretend the ball has two legs and the legs are in the sand, just take the legs out from underneath that ball. That's basically what we're trying to do. If we can swipe this club underneath that ball with a shallow divot, and we use the bounce of our club, that thing's just going to pop up in the air and go in. Bunker shots are not that hard to get on the green. They're kind of tough to